Hey everybody, wanted to respond to some of the critics on YouTube, both positive and negative. One thing we've been doing at the shop here is we did go with center point, and we had a couple comments. One was really actually pretty blunt, and I liked it because that's what I enjoy, people that just put it out there. I do agree. I don't think center point was always the best bow until recently, and I'm not even saying they're the best bow now, but I did fall in love with them a little bit at ATA. One comment stated something to the fact of, well, they bought Raven out, and what's it going to do to Raven? Well, the difference is I get to go to the shows and I get to talk with guys. Now, this is Raven telling me this, so they could be just buttering up their other brand now, but I'm starting to see it in the bow itself. So one thing I want to talk about is the CP400. It's something I thought was a great idea. I mean, they're priced nice. They're at $800. You're getting some Raven technology, which I'll show you in a minute. And I've talked about it a few times now, but I really want to go over a couple things after hearing some comments and actually do some shooting. I've already fired a couple shots. I'm going to show you the target. I didn't dial it in completely, but I'm just gotten good enough where I can show you a group at 50 yards. So one thing I do want to say is I think that what people were stating, they're worried about center point ruining Raven, but I don't think they realize that Raven kept everything going themselves. Raven took their bows and started making them better. I think center point knew they had a quality issue. They never came out and told me that, or probably anybody. And brands like Killer Instinct, the one we also sell, I think changed that market a little bit. The Ripper 415 showed that you can make a $400 bow that's really good. And they did a really good job at it. I'm impressed with them. But center point did impress me at the shows with a couple of their other bows, but the one I really want to focus on is the one that's kind of getting a lot of chatter in the shop, and just in general, where I think center point failed, they got it out a little late. They had to try and really get this thing to work good and not have any issues before it hit the market, and it did take till August. And guys are buying bows a little early just to shoot them in. I know it's a crossbow and it's a scope and it's an easy sight-in, but guys still want to touch and feel, and they don't want a last-minute thing to change their mind. So we went over it a couple times, but the people who haven't seen it, what Centerpoint did is they took basically the Raven helicoil as the front end. You can see how narrow it is, and they made their own version of the bow. Now it's not kind of the rollers up front and then knocking it back. It's more of a traditional crossbow setup. I do like the adjustable stock a lot. That's one of my favorite things. And I'm 50-50 on this thing yet. I'll let you know the more I shoot it. I've shot it a pretty decent amount, but today's actually the first time I really shot it off the bench without being on an actual rest, and using this just to see how well it worked for out of like a shanty or a stand, whatever you may have, a shooting rail. So one thing I do agree with, one of the responders on YouTube said that the trigger, it has a pretty long creep, and I can probably agree with that. Shooting here, it did take a little while to break. All in all, I think it's probably my biggest knock on the bow is the trigger pull, but it's not horrendous either. We get in a situation where we do a lot of shooting and we get spoiled on better triggers. To the average person that's just going crossbow hunting and want to hunt, I don't think it's that horrible. I just think it's something that, after shooting as many bows as we have, I think it could have been possibly a little better. But all in all, she's very accurate. A couple things we're going to do today. I'm going to fire a shot off, show you how it cocks. It's a little different setup, but nothing crazy. It's pretty easy to understand. I already fired a couple shots. I'm going to show you the group I got out of it at 50 yards. The one thing I do like is the scope. It's a 3-32. Definitely not the Raven higher end, but it's still a pretty good scope. Does have the line markings in it for your distance. I do like that. So one thing I'm going to show you here is how it cocks. It's a little different. You use basically this bipod piece here, stick your foot in it, and it kind of rides up with you. It's a sled instead of hooks, which does make it a little tough if you're in a fast reloading situation, but I think with the width across the board here on the limbs, they probably had to do that. As you can see, it's more of the sled style, which like I said, if you ever get a second shot, which is rare, it makes it tougher to do that fast reload, but at the end of the day, it's a little thing. I think it's more going off of the whole limb setup. So we're ready to go. I'm going to give it a shot here, and you can hear the noise. Now, it's not the best because it's cement and a steel building, but you'll be able to hear that, and I'll get the target, show it to you guys, and show you the group I got out of it at the end, and we'll go from there. Now, always remember safety when you load these. You're supposed to load it from the front up here. Keep your fingers out of the way of the limbs. We're ready to go. It does have the anti-dry fire mechanism, so I saw that engage. We're ready to go. Well, after shooting, I've done this a few times. This is pretty stable. So if you get that that shot off the bench or the rail of like a shanty, it's not bad. It definitely helps with the shot. So I'm gonna go grab the target, and I'll be right back with you guys, and I'll show you what we grouped at. All right, so here's the target. You'll see now. I did some at 20. You can see down here offhand. These are the first couple at 50. I just wanted to make sure I was on at 20 before I shot. At the 50, so I didn't have to buy the shop some new arrows. But did start getting a little dialed in. Now this is the final group. I know I need to come up and over a little bit, but that's pretty good. At 50 yards, that's my worst shot, and I had a couple here. So really think that it groups pretty well at 50 yards. I'm pretty impressed with the group. I mean, we know I need to obviously get centered a little more, but just kind of trying to get this thing done fast. I didn't have the full time to really go out and sight in. I go more off the group because I know the bow's firing the group. I can get this to come over here pretty easily. So I'm actually pretty impressed with that. Definitely think that's something that that will take down anything you need to take down. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to the chronograph. Because one thing that really bugs me, and I've had it happen with a bow lately, I'm not going to name the company, it's something we don't carry. Guy wanted me to order one in for him, so I did. And it's supposed to, it gives a speed. Went back to the chronograph, it wasn't even close. And we had both our bow tech and a couple of the shop employees shooting. And we'll just say it was a pretty fictitious amount of speed that they told me. It was about 30 feet per second less. And that was with us all shooting and shooting some more. And we were just trying to get it to go because we thought something was wrong with the chronograph, and we actually grabbed a couple of our other bows, and it was pretty accurate. And there were bows we had tested before through the chronograph, so we knew what the speed should have been. So here's the thing. You guys are going to get the honest truth because we haven't shot this through the chronograph yet. This is probably one of the only bows we haven't shot through the chronograph. So we're going to find out together on how fast this thing really is. Alright, I'll see you in a few seconds. Alright, so we're back here at the chronograph. Going to fire through, and I'm going to show you the results right here so you guys can actually see it. Like I said, the first time we've ever shot this through the chronograph, we're going to see how it goes. Alright, I'm pretty impressed with that. Right here, it's called the CP400. That is what we got. I mean, I like to do 3, and I'll add to the comments. I'll probably end up shooting 3 just to see everything through there, but I'm very impressed with that. That's one thing they put on the side of a bow, and it's usually close, but not that close. So center point did, I think, a pretty good job. You do got to remember there's some value there. You're getting Raven technology, but for a lot less of the cost. The scope's pretty good. Like I said, I do agree with one of the comments. I think the trigger could have been better. But all in all, for $800, I think it's well worth spending the money if you don't want to get into that $2,000 to $2,500 investment in Raven. The accuracy's there. The shootability's there. I do like the adjustability for length of pole and stuff. I think that was a good move on them. So it's enjoy it. I think it's time to buy one. I think if you're in that market and you're not looking for the $400 crossbow but don't want to spend $2,000, $2,500 on some of these other ones, there's your happy medium. Come check it out. Shoot it for yourself. We can do the same test with any of the customers, and they can see for themselves if they really want one. Thanks again, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.